What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
It's another day at the office. I get to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones. Orlando, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
And all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all of Nicole's work at typingwhentipsy.wordpress.com. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, MikeMercado2333.
And here we go.
Get ready, get set for the best movie and pop culture talk in the universe. It's the Good Brothers on Mercado Airwaves with your hosts, Alex Mercado and Mike Mercado.
Your mission, if you choose to accept, is to listen to the Good Brothers talk about Mission Impossible, Fallout, and much more. I am Alex. This is Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Hi.
And we are the Good Brothers. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. My mustache has been shaven, so I am good to go. You and I have to
You will literally have a mustache now. Do not lie to America.
Yeah, that's
You're just
true.
mad because it hasn't grown in 2 years.
Yeah, well, what the Good Brothers talking about is we got to go see Mission Impossible Fallout. Alex, you and I, at least recently, you even talked about it in one of our past episodes that you weren't the biggest Mission Impossible fan initially, and one day it was just a random time you and us in the clique, we went to go see last one, Ghost Protocol. Yeah. And kind of on a whim because it was between that and Southpaw.
No, Rogue Nation. Ghost Protocol.
There we go. Yeah, and we were debating between Southpaw and this one, and
No, we weren't debating. The story is Southpaw was just sold out because it was the more popular movie at the time.
oh yeah, and I kind of already knew the story.
And we were like, we're already there. Yeah. Oh yeah. Plus, Mike, we'll have this debate one day about Mike and the stupid trailers and overlooking them.
That's actually a great conversation.
Yeah, it
for
doesn't ruin the movie. It's not a good movie that we
shows.
never got to see.
Yeah,
it's on Netflix. Watch it.
Yeah.
Anywho, we walked in and we hadn't seen. I seen part 3, but I hadn't, and Rogue Nation, but I hadn't seen. I really haven't paid that much attention.
Right.
Or Ghost Protocol. Not
and you
Rogue
liked
Nation.
it though. Like we walked out thinking,
I
like
love
this was
It's one of my new favorite franchises, obviously. But I think it's interesting because you said like, "Oh, Alex, you didn't get into it." I'm like, I was also 4 when the first one came out.
Like the first
it
one
was
is
22 years ago. Like I was 4 years old. Like I wasn't into it because I was barely into anything that wasn't the Teletubbies.
And yeah, right. Good callback. And here's the thing though. It's a testament to Tom Cruise, all his weirdness aside, like he's dedicated to his craft. He's very much like The Rock. He's a miniature Rock where he's just very dedicated to the craft, to his franchises and what he cares about. And even unfortunately a movie like The Mummy that was kind of bad.
Terrible.
He cared. He cares about these movies.
I mean, American Made ended up being good, so it's not like he was like off a cold streak.
Think what we did at Tropic Thunder. I mean, like how much he cared about that role. Like it's such a silly role.
That's almost 10 years ago.
But like that's the renaissance because after that started the Mission Impossible craze, and he really became part of the consciousness again.
Yes.
Of like,
did he go crazy and believe in Scientology? Yes, these are facts. But he's still kind of cool.
Yeah, and like you got to think this is post Oprah on the couch. So like a lot of this is kind of interesting that it's worked out this way. But why don't we go into Fallout, Alex? In general, why don't we break it down a little bit by little bit? Okay, one. First of all, spoiler alerts. You know what? Before we go to spoiler, how about this? We're going to give you our general review of it, and Alex are going to break it down.
I want to talk about spoilers.
All right, yeah. Okay, Alex, before non-spoiler, what is your, out of 5 mask, what do you give it?
4.8.
Okay, yeah. It's almost as close to a 5 as you're going to get.
I think the best thing to say, it is the best action movie since Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes, that's a very
That's probably the best way to do it.
Yes.
And so that makes it honestly probably one of the top 10 action movies ever.
That's
Think
right.
about this. So Mission Impossible, if you did top 10 action things ever, Mission Impossible would be in that conversation. This is the best Mission Impossible. So what does that put it? You're like, well, yeah, it's one of the best action films just ever. Like it's on the road, it's on the board with like Mad Max's, The Matrix. And I heard someone compare it to, is it as good as Civil War fight scene? I'm like, Civil War fight scene is a cum drop compared to this one. Because this is not
It's
CGI.
different, too, though. Yeah.
This
That's
isn't
exactly it.
CGI. This isn't cartoon. This is real. This is very gritty. This is very, one punch doesn't knock you out. This is very like,
It's living in both worlds.
very John Wick mixed with James Bond to a realistic level.
It's like watching WWE, a great WWE match, and then watching a great boxing or UFC fight.
Perfect. I think that's the perfect way. Marvel's like WWE.
Yes.
We're like, we know it's fake,
At
but
its
it looks
best,
great.
it's great.
It looks fun. Like we love Stone
You
Cold.
lose
Hulk
yourself
Hogan.
in it,
We love
yes.
the characters.
Yeah.
But it's like UFC where
Yeah.
it's like I like the characters and it's gritty
And it's real.
Like I'm seeing this person get elbowed in the face.
Yes, like when Daniel Cormier went against Stipe Miocic recently for the heavyweight championship,
I don't know who those people are.
right? But like it's the equivalent of like that is Mission Impossible. You're like, I don't know how this is gonna end up. All I know is it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be real, and there's a true blood in, blood out of this.
Yeah.
And then Marvel's Avengers Infinity War is WrestleMania Undertaker versus CM Punk. It's like you know how it's gonna end. Theoretically, but you know it's more about the theatrical part of it. You know it's about the journey getting there.
It's
you know it's
fun.
about the culmination.
It's different kind
Yes.
of fun.
Okay, here's another thing everybody's going to obviously ask. Henry Cavill. I've heard both ends of the spectrum. I've heard great. I've heard doesn't
I
matter.
thought
this
you were
movie.
going to ask a mustache question.
No,
I was
like,
about
look
to, you were about to hear me quit on air bringing up a mustache gate question on our show.
Okay, let's elephant in the room though.
It was
doesn't make a difference.
unnecessary.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. It doesn't make a
But
difference.
guess what? That is not their fault. It was not
And
it was not their responsibility to go back and be like, why I don't need to convenience you, no offense. I'm not going to.
And here's the thing, somebody on Twitter said it perfectly. The mustache is not what's wrong with Justice League.
I mean that wouldn't
It's not what's wrong with Justice League.
You know,
if you think something's wrong with Justice League.
On Alex's conspiracy theories, I to this day think bad reviews is what make Mike hates the DC universe.
No.
He disagrees.
No.
We're never going to agree on it.
No.
I think if he not gone in with the bad reviews, he'd like it a lot more and make his own opinion. He is a robot.
Yeah, okay.
He's a robot.
Rubit.
from
Shout out Josh
Westworld.
McCouga. Please become the new Jeopardy host in 2020.
Nah, it's okay. No one watches it.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's fair. That's why he should
Besides,
have it.
like no one our age or
I will watch
within
it.
50 years.
I
No,
will
you
watch it. The
won't.
Wild Man does it. But Alex, this is Henry Cavill. I thought this was going to be his breakout performance, and I really don't think this was it. I think he was great in the movie. Like he wasn't a hindrance.
This
or
is the
anything.
performance right before the breakout performance.
I think James Bond or the next Superman movie is supposed to do it for him. But here's the thing: if Man of Steel, but I think this is the difference, though, and this is an interesting conversation we can have. Maybe in the new show we're going to start doing it. But let me ask you this really fast: unlike Batman, which makes careers or takes careers to a different level, Superman's never really done that.
Well,
Christopher
Reeve.
Reeve, Brandon. But think about it. We love Christopher Reeve looking back.
But Christopher Reeve would have been something had he not got hurt.
Perhaps, but more than likely, perhaps. But like Brandon
there's-
Roth, and then obviously now with Henry
But
Cavill.
then I disagree because then you say that you're like, okay,
I'm not saying-
Reeves would have been, so take that out. So really, what Brandon Ralph and
Well, how many guys-
he made a living in TV? He
How
made
many
more
guys
of a
have
living
played?
than other people.
No, I'm not disagreeing with.
I
being
disagree
rookie
with that.
people.
I think that's
I'm talking about
super-
becoming superstars.
I think any superhero
Christian
movie-
Bale became a superstar after playing Batman.
Yes, I think any superhero role can do that at this point. It's just if it's good or
Perhaps,
bad.
but he's in that theory though.
And
He
like
should
I
become
said-
one after Man of Steel or Justice League or Dawn of
But
Justice. And he hasn't.
But like none of those
He's been-
movies
he's
were.
been Superman 3
The Dark-
times.
No one hates The Dark Knight. No one hates Batman Begins. People hate Man of Steel. It may be
Fair enough.
critically.
Okay.
Like though you're comparing movies that are 90-something% to 60, 70%.
So your
your
more argument is like the Superman movies
Like,
have
no,
never,
they're not that good.
Have never
That's
been
why.
as good as a Batman
Like, that's
movie.
why Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool, he's a superstar because of
But
Deadpool.
would you argue Ryan Reynolds was a superstar
And a
before?
different level superstar.
Sure.
He was a rom-com superstar.
Sure.
He's a Hollywood superstar now. Deadpool's
Interesting.
everywhere.
Interesting.
You know, Hugh Jackman, same thing. Hugh Jackman would have been a superstar regardless. Wolverine made him that superstar. You know, and argue this. Well, here's another argument against both of us is
Sure.
look at someone like Topher Grace.
Okay.
Or no, it's not Topher Grace. Topher Grace is just...
Andrew Garfield?
Yeah, no, not Andrew Gar. Andrew Gar's a superstar. He's an Oscar winner. Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. Okay.
Where did Spider-Man really make him a superstar? I don't think so. I don't think he necessarily
those are
ever
great movies.
became. But do we ever go back and be? Here's the problem with those movies. I've never heard someone say Tobey Maguire is the reason I like that movie. It's usually Sam Raimi directed a hell of a
William
movie.
Dafoe and Alfred Molina.
Right?
Yes, okay.
Like, when you really go back and look at it,
and Franco.
That's what I'm saying is like, did we ever? So it's actually just you got to make a good movie. You have to be good. Maybe it is as simple as you got to do a little of everything.
Hey, shout out to Spider-Man 2, though. Oh, you know what? Really fast, Alex. This is going to be an argument. We're teasing it right now. Before the end of 2018, we're in our new studios, Alex. Before everybody goes, I'm going to pictures.
Studios,
yeah. That will be a show.
Island of Alex over there.
Now, before we even say this, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2 from Sam Raimi are some of our favorite films. We've watched them multiple times, and they're part of our life of growing up as children, and the reason why we do that. But there is a legit argument and fight, Alex, I have almost yearly about whether Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 2 is better. My argument has always been Spider-Man 2 is the better film. William Dafoe is the best character / actor in that universe.
I disagree. Spider-Man 2 is the better film. Oh, no. What
Spider-Man 1 would be
Spider-Man 1 is the better film.
Yeah.
Alfred Molina is the better bad guy.
Yeah.
I think Spider-Man 2 is the film is a little long and boring.
I think it's the best out of
I think part 1's exciting, perfect, great origin.
Like the train scene
like Spider-Man 1.
in Spider-Man 2 might be the best scene of all of them.
It's also a 2.5 hour movie.
Perhaps.
I think Spider-Man, the original, is as good as like X-Men First Class and Batman Begins. Like on that level of
Now,
good.
let me ask you this.
Alfred Molina is magical as Doc Ock.
I've never asked you this question. Is Spider-Man 2 a top tier, top of the end superhero movie?
No, because Spider-Man 1's better.
But can Batman Begins? Dark Knight is better than Batman Begins, but they're both top tier of all time.
I think it's maybe that to an extent. I think it's a little closer because I think no matter what we said, you and me could argue Batman Begins.
I'm going to break this down a little bit. Is Spider-Man 2 head and shoulders better or equal to The Amazing Spider-Man?
Oh, it's head and shoulders better.
Okay,
but we're talking about two A's. We're talking about a 96 and a 98 compared to like a solid 82%.
Because where I like
percent is grades. That's the best way to grade a movie. So like Spider-Man 1 is like a solid B minus. The Amazing Spider-Man. But you're talking about the original Spider-Man's an A. Spider-Man 2 is an A. Batman Begins is an A. First Class, Days of Future Past, Dark Knight. These are A movies.
That's what I was getting at.
With very B, C, third. So like Spider-Man 3 it's not an F. It's probably a solid C, honestly, of a movie. It's just in comparison. Like if you're a straight A student and you go to a C, you're going to panic. Now, if you're starting off at a B and you go to a C, you're not going to do too much. Or if you're a C going to a B, like the problem is it's so much a drastic drop. Same with Amazing Spider-Man. It went from like a solid B to like a D. So maybe an F even.
So that is just a teaser. What you're going to get here on Mercado Airwaves. The Good Brothers are expanded universe is growing, and that's just a taste of what this universe is bringing to you. But going back to Mission Impossible, Alex cannot wait to talk more about that down the road. Mission Impossible, do you think now we're going to get to some spoiler talk because I agree with Alex, it's a 4.8.
Guess what, y'all? It's everything you thought. Spoiler talk, 3, 2, 1. Henry Cavill's the bad guy, and guess what? They don't hide it.
They don't hide it.
They say, hey, listen, from what is it, after Paris, from that moment, they're like, oh, he's setting up
From
Ethan.
the bathroom scene where you see the shotgun arms,
And you see that, and then you see him grab the cell phone. Like, they point out the cell phone's broken.
Yes.
And he comes back and he shows... Angela Bassett.
A fixed phone.
He's like, here's a fixed phone. This is his phone. So from that moment, and he's telling the story of I think it's him, you're like, okay, so he's the bad guy.
Now,
he's the bad guy this whole time. And, I think me and you were like, I nudged him like, we knew that. Yeah. Like, he's the bad guy. Like, and we even took it further and we're like, no, he's not the secondary main bad guy.
He's the bad guy.
He's the guy that hired this whole thing. And guess what, people? We were right.
Yeah, well, kind of, yeah. I mean, he's still working with the bad guy from the last one.
But, like, he's the one that hired him. He's an
equal guy to him. He's the muscle of it.
Yeah. He's like Talia. He's still Bane. Like, Bane's still the main bad guy of the movie, but, like, Talia's the main bad guy.
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
I guess the way you look at him.
As in, like, Scarecrow to... Raj al Ghul, Two-Face, and Joker. Like,
oh man, Dark Knight's a great film.
Yeah, but like, great movie. Go back into the archives on the Good Brothers. We actually talk a lot about the anniversary of the Dark Knight, something we're really proud of. And again, another preview of what we have here in the expanded universe at Mercado Airwaves. But my big complaint about this Mission Impossible movie is you literally hyped Henry Cavill, part of your universe, you're trying to build around him theoretically, and you kill him. And not just kill him. You make sure you know you kill him.
I think you had to.
But you're gonna survive. You're gonna keep the same bad guy now for the third movie.
Yeah.
But why? Like, I'm not interested in that relationship between Ethan Hunt and I'm spacing on his name. Like that to me, this series is no longer a let's continue the stories. It's an episodic thing. I'm waiting for episode 7 of this.
I think it was a growth thing where he finally had to get a little more violent.
Sure.
And make the move to kill someone. Because the whole message of the movie is he's the guy that saves one life over a million. Like he values one life as much as a million lives. And the whole story, that's the point of the story of the movie is like nuclear war and at what cost is it one life worth? Like if I kill Mike right now and it will save 100,000 people, do I do it? Is it morally? It's one of those movies message, and that's why it's a fun movie where it's like, what would you do? And the easy answer is like, oh yeah, duh, I'll kill baby Hitler, say this. But then you're like, what's a baby, dude?
Still
like,
a baby. Yeah.
He doesn't know any better. And can you teach him different? There's always that Twilight Zone-y question of, would you do it? And same thing here. It's like, would you risk someone you care about necessarily? Or at what extent would you do? Like, the whole point is they have the bombs and his friend gets taken. And it's basically like, he can leave now. Like, they do a great job saying, here's the car. You're done. Like, go. Yeah. And he chooses to save his friend, which I got a problem with that scene because I'm like, dude, just keep the briefcase with you. But like, I'm not going to get into little things that bother me because it is a spy movie.
And that's the
you
stuff
gotta
that
take it with a grain of salt. There's a reason no movie's 100%.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why would you leave the briefcase?
But how awesome is the CNN Wolf Blitzer scene? Like, again, no affiliation.
One of the best scene in the movie.
Arguably,
is the fake nuke attack. And you and me are sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, did they actually set up all these bombs?
I was
And
shook.
then you find out it's a swerve and they're tricking the guy to get his pass.
Amazing.
Everyone needs to see it. I think it's going to make a lot of money.
Well, it was number 1 in the box office this past weekend.
It'll be
his biggest opening of a Mission Impossible
I think it'll
movie.
be number 2 because I think a lot of people that want to see it saw it, and I think Christopher Robin is
which
going
we'll
to get
into
good
a little bit later. Yeah,
because the little sneak reviews are already good, and the Disney's just being a little weird about it.
Hold that thought, because everybody, again, Christopher Robin should be one of the biggest blockbusters, even if the movie's not good, just a marketing.
It's not going to make the money crazy money, but it's going to split it. So if Mission Impossible made $61 million. They're going to split it like 30-30, 40-20, 35-25 mil. They're going to split that chunk to 2 movies now.
Now, before we kind of wrap these things up, obviously it's go watch in the theaters, enjoy it in the big screen.
It's literally the best action film since Mad Max. Like, it's probably one of the top.
It's going to end up being the best action in this year.
It's one of the probably top 5 action movies of the last 20 years. And it's probably one of the top 10 action movies ever, honestly. So that's the simple way. Without getting into list and going back, that's probably as simple as it gets.
And I won't say story is all that great. It doesn't really matter though. Like
it's the best story of Mission Impossible.
Sure, but like it doesn't.
Like the story's only getting better. That's what's crazy. Like not only is the action getting better, but they dive more into this a little more every time, and you get a little bit more. So if you like the last time, they give you just a little. Here's another spoonful of character and action, and they do both great. Because they have great character moments.
Keeping it 100, it's one of those things where it's like,
Conan.
Yeah, right. It's shout out to Conan, keeping it 100 on Westwood One or the Podcast One Network. The great thing is, it allows itself to kind of grow in its own way. Like it's not hold down to one thing, and that's what kind of upsets me about the bad guy in this movie is that they kept him around. Like if you're gonna kill him, just kill them both off and start fresh and continue on your own. I want to see the next episode. I will say, obviously there's another one coming. There has to be.
We get one more.
We got probably one more.
He's 55. We get one more. One more with the possible 8, 9, and 10 being him being more the van guy, maybe.
Yeah. But and the big thing,
that's why I was kind of hoping Henry Cavill would have been the good guy.
Yeah, I think that's
because I kind of was in the beginning. As much as we thought he's a bad guy, I'm like maybe that is one of those.
That was what I was saying.
We're like maybe he's gonna. Hey, I'm gonna take you under my wing and like you do it this way. Let's do it this way and be with our team. And I kind of hope they went there, but I appreciate what they did. And like
my conspiracy on that was, I thought when he gave the phone up, I thought he was thinking of the greater good. Ethan Hunt's actually behind this, and eventually they were going to come
frame
together.
Him. Yeah, and there was a part where I'm like, okay, maybe he's still good.
No, but no, he was
I
bad.
like their charm. Their back and forth was amazing. Their chemistry was amazing. I'm like, he's the new team member. I could watch at least 1 or 2 movies with Henry Cavill.
Now, before we move forward, is Henry Cavill the next?
Cavill.
What I say?
Cavill Henry or something.
Oh, yeah. Is Henry Cavill actually the next? Yeah, the next James Bond?
No, not at all. Dude.
That is, remember, I think it was one of the pundits even brought it up that he was the runner-up to Daniel Craig.
Yeah, I don't think it's happening.
So you think that's kind of run its course?
Dude, I don't think anyone cares at the moment because like Daniel Craig still wants to do one more. I think we're a long way from a decision who's the next James Bond because Daniel Craig's doing one more, and we're still in the process of that. So
is Man of Steel 2 coming?
It's not a thing right now.
How, Alex? You know what? Look at sidebar. We're gonna move forward. Alex, Mission Impossible 6, amazing. Fallout, go check it out. Yeah. We love it. Alex, it is August, breaking the fourth wall. It is August 2nd. We're in the new studios. We made this move. I have not heard a thing about Batman or Superman. Matt Reeves is talking about that Ben Affleck's might be
or no, they just mentioned it's not an origin story.
Alex,
he came back out. At least we got that. Don't talk shit about Batman. That we can do that a different time.
Okay.
The fact that we still I don't blame him, dude. Man of Steel 1 wasn't great.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't think they're sold.
I think it was great, but it didn't. I don't think
Justice League was great. Like, I don't think they're very sold on like, dude, if we do a Superman 2 and it's bad. That's 3 times we've tried Superman, and we've really only had like.
So you think they have one more bullet, and they're just waiting? At this
point, you've made what is it like 6 Superman movies, and one is well round good, and then you have 2 halves, and then the other ones are terrible. Like, I just don't think they care as much anymore. I don't think does Superman really sell anymore? Is it too?
Its merchandise does. His merchandise
does, but here's the thing: they can sell the merchandise without the movie.
No, it's so fair.
It's all profit. Like you can sell a Superman.
But I guess you can do that with all of them. I don't have to make right.
Superman, and Batman. That's it.
Spider-Man sells a little bit, but not as much as the other.
I don't think the Spider sells as good as the other 2 do.
Obviously, yeah. Obviously, and Captain America
sells them.
Yeah,
much. If we're talking about Marvel, it's
yes,
America.
I agree with that.
Yeah, the Cap.
I agree with that. Now, I would think in all of media, Spider-Man does well when it comes to video games.
Spider-Man's good. Spider-Man's one of the few that were like Batman. Spider-Man and Batman are the only 2 you're like, we can keep redoing it, and I think people are cool with it. Because people were excited about Batman.
Yeah.
A solo Batman movie. That's what they wanted more than anything. But people aren't, beside our little nerd community, going crazy for Man of Steel 2.
I agree. But it goes back to when you said don't talk shit about Batman. Alex, you and I are some of the biggest Batman fans we know. The fact is we haven't had a Batman movie.
That's okay. We've had 2 series. Dude, we've had 7 movies. Like, I think we can wait. But I think we get a little impatient. Like,
I totally agree. This is first world problems.
I don't need another Batman movie because I just got one. It's what, 10 years ago?
I'm kind of ready for one.
Like, Dark Knight was what, 08? And like Rises was what, like
12?
11 or 12? Dude, it was 6 years ago. We got a third.
How about this?
We were going out to it, and I just got him in. I liked Ben Affleck in Justice League and BVS, so I'm okay.
How about this? I'm ready for a brand new story of Batman. I'm ready to hear we're gonna get a Batman versus.
I want to see them get a turkey. I want to see a good Wonder Woman 84, a good Shazam, and a good Aquaman.
Shout out to that. Okay,
and I want to get a good solid momentum because now you can say, okay, add those 3. We got Wonder Woman. And I'll even give you Man of Steel.
Okay.
So really, we've only messed up BVS, Justice League, and Suicide. Suicide's got to make money, though. So at the end of the day, you're like, okay, if we only messed up Justice League, really, and BVS was kind of weird, we're doing pretty good. We got like 6 out of 8. Like, we'll count those as our Age of Ultron / Iron Man 2s, and we can move on and then do a Man of Steel 2. But like, what if there's the rumors true, and what if Henry Cavill's in Shazam?
That would be
awesome.
And
that's going to lead into our Man of Steel 2. Like, maybe they're
Black Adam versus.
Maybe they're saving that announcement for next year when they're like, okay, now that we got all these good movies, Avengers coming out. Well, guess what? Superman 2 is going to be coming. It's going to production this year. It'll be out in 2020.
Okay, now see
that looks better. Man of Steel 2, 2020.
Yeah, now staying rolling with that. Boss Logic on Twitter made a picture that The Rock asked him to make of Shazam, of Black Adam versus Superman. Now, if the rumors come out true that Henry Cavill might be in Shazam or might be post-credit scene, maybe it narrows down the idea of a lot of people have been talking Black Adam and Man of Steel and Superman having some type of relationship in the next movie.
Maybe they fight or something, and then he has to come and help Superman, or like that's his mission. Is like, hey, there's
that's putting pieces together that may not exist,
they probably don't exist. But I think that sounds right. Like next year, you wait.
That's wrestling booking.
You got a great Aquaman. Yeah. You had this Wonder Woman 2 is about to come out.
I want to get into that.
Like, let me see. Okay, 2020, y'all going into production later this year. Man of Steel 2 comes out November 2020. What if they find out? Like, listen. obviously Star Wars is 2019. What if they find out, hey, December was great with Aquaman. What if we put Superman out December 2020?
Yeah.
Like, that's huge for
Now-
them. That's something that gets people excited now. Christmas. Imagine a Christmas movie of Superman.
This is something I wanted to get your thoughts of that happened throughout the week was there was a lot of hate for Aquaman's trailer because of the CGI.
I didn't think so. See,
how
I'm not
weird is
hearing
that?
it. I'm not hearing it. I think the problem is articles go out of their way to find hate and
Maybe,
then make a
okay.
headline.
'Cause it's
when
bullshit.
you really look at the numbers, there's not a lot of hate. It actually got a lot of
love.
love. Like,
Yeah.
Like Warner Brothers did no wrong at this with
How?
Fantastic Beasts in them. So I think the problem is we need to make the whole DC can't do CGI for some reason. I think that's the conversation these headlines are trying to go for, and it's like.
When you say that, I hear when you say that to
these
me,
people make Harry Potter. Like, I think we're okay.
Boom.
Y'all.
This is James Wan. You're telling me
make Godzilla.
You're telling me when you say things like that, you're telling me like the people who make Godzilla, Harry Potter, the new Fantastic Beasts,
The original Batman.
that they don't know how to do CGI. That James Wan isn't a great enough director when he makes horror movies that he can't figure out CGI.
like-
Look, you're making a movie underwater.
Like, yeah, I get it. Like, obviously the mustache happened in Justice League, but there was a lot more problems when you have a director and suicide, and there's a lot of issues going to go on with Justice League that, again, CGI was probably the least of the problems. It was probably the reshooting issue. None of the the way people look at it, they're dumb. I'm like, well, yeah, those scenes look bad because they filmed it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The scenes that they had filmed before look great. They look fine. But obviously every scene that they had to go back and redo was not good.
Unbelievable.
Like the whole Tumblr scene underwater when you first get them all together. That scene looks great.
Yeah.
Because they did it already. Obviously, the parademon in the beginning looks a little weird because they added that Batman scene.
Yes.
And this one looks weird because they added this scene. But every scene that they had done originally looks great.
Yeah.
That's why I think Aquaman's going to be good because there wasn't exclusive reshoots. It was just, hey, we're making a movie. Here's our normal times.
Why did Wonder Woman look gorgeous?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like it was
doesn't
just
why does she
great.
look good in this movie, not this? Or like the Amazons look good in all the movies so far. That
I've-
action looks great.
Shazam looks beautifully made. It looks perfectly colored. So does so does Aquaman. It's bright blue, but it's also murky because you're underwater. Like
That's
there's
what I'm
certain
saying.
scenes.
Like I think those are just people looking for headlines.
Okay.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can see all of Nicole's work at typingwhentipsy.wordpress.com. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex. Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, MikeMercado2333.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
Another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
How
buddy?
you, sir? I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.
We're going to jump into the Marvel Universe because there's a certain trailer that came out. But before we get to that, one of the biggest movies that you and I have had our eyes on, and for some reason, it's still as under embargo before the Thursday release. So when you hear this on Friday, unless you're on patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, Christopher Robin, under embargo still. We're hearing little snippets
I
that
think
people
when
think is
it
great.
came out, it's what we thought they said. It's charming, it's amazing, it's great.
Why hold the embargo?
You know, I don't know, man.
I'm excited for it.
I don't know. Maybe they're going for a different audience, obviously. Maybe it's...
I don't know. Maybe they were afraid.
I don't know. Maybe Mission Impossible coming out. Maybe they're like, we'll wait till the Saturday crowd or something. Like, I don't know what they're
But
doing.
to hold back?
This isn't, but like, we're in a different, like, here's the problem I just thought of mid-show is like, we're in a different style now. We're out of the summer blockbuster. We're into the
Totally.
Oscar shade.
Yes.
There's not going to be as big of a push. Like, now is the time where it's like, we're not getting big weekend box office.
Aquaman's one of the big ones.
That's
yes.
probably one of the ones. Like, or Mission Impossible probably the last one that's going to reach
Mary
that
Poppins
kind
with
of money.
a lot of push.
But I'm saying like 60 million. We're not going to see that the rest of the year. This is the last movie to make that much money.
Christopher Robin.
No, it's going to
Mission
make like
Impossible?
Mission Impossible.
Okay.
Like Christopher Robin's going to make a solid maybe like 45.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I can see
think,
that.
like
Yeah,
a 30
yeah.
to 45 million area. That's what it's projected at, and that's realistic. These are more like even Happy Time Murders. Like these movies are going to make enough money, but I think now we're going to settle down into like the whispers of like, oh, Blind Spotting was good, and
Black
Klansman's coming out, and several other movies. Like now we're in that big race because we're in August.
Very interesting. Yeah, I don't see what Disney's doing, but these people get paid a lot of money, so they must know something, or they must be thinking about something or strategizing towards something. So I think it's going to be great. We'll obviously watch it and give our review when we get the chance to go see it. So I'm really excited though. Ewan McGregor, and then obviously the Winnie the Pooh universe. So hopefully it just needs to be charming and loving for 2 hours. That's all anybody's asking for. But something that's a little bit on the other end of the spectrum: Tom Hardy and Sony release and hype up the new trailer for Venom. We finally get to see the big guy himself. And I think this is as close as you can make as cool of a Venom character without literally copy and pasting the animated one.
I don't think anyone's complaining about the way he looks. People are complaining about the movie looks kind of stupid. But not one person said Venom doesn't look cool. Like, that's exactly what we want our Venom to look like.
Like, he looks like what we want.
But, like, it's like Tom Hardy's voice is weird. Well, his voice is always weird, people. He's a weird guy.
Yeah.
But that isn't like sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't hit. Like, he's a very acquired taste sometimes.
Will the movie be good? Chips on the table. Will the movie be good?
I think so.
I'm confident we'll be.
But it's going to be a lot different. It's not going to be a normal superhero movie.
Now, let me ask you this. I had this internal question the day the trailer came out. I tweeted at it on Twitter at Mercado2333. Am I coming in almost with a weird blind spot because how much I adore the character of Venom and how much I love Tom Hardy? Am I coming in with some weird... I'm not seeing something that other people are seeing from the trailer.
I don't get. Well, why would you?
Because I think the trailer was great. I think
so
the action
was good. Tom Hardy's a good actor.
I think everything about this movie has. Why wouldn't? To me, this movie is quintessential October.
Yeah, that's why I don't get your statement. I was like, I don't know why you.
But people are hate. Like you just said, like some people was very hit or miss. This trailer was. But to me, it's like, am I missing something?
The Twitter's a hateful place. Yeah.
See, I think I've heard a lot of people complaining about it.
No, it's just,
like people are like, why doesn't he have eyes? Like he does.
Like I said, I don't hear this, but I think it's because we expose ourselves to different things. I don't expose myself to negative.
It's just what I'm reading by the pundits and stuff.
Dude,
this is what I'm reading.
If I went on Infinity War, I can find a billion things that are negative.
What you're saying is going through the Twitter troll roll. I'm talking about if you go on Screen Rant, Collider, you go on IGN, you go on Game Informer.
But okay,
they're complaining about it.
Collider, for instance, out of 4 people on the desk, 3 liked it. Only like 1 people didn't. So like, I don't think you're tricking yourself. I think could this movie be bad? Yeah. Any movie could be bad. Yeah. Fallout could have been bad. Yeah. There was whispers last week that Fallout might be bad. Without no recommendation. Just because that's a headline that you can put. Because guess what?
Sure.
Any movie could be bad, I guess.
So you just said meh to the trailer. So the trailer didn't do it for you?
Nothing more than... I'm already excited. Like it didn't add anything more. Like I didn't need to see the big version. Because I knew it was going to be fine. Mm-hmm. They're not going to make the same mistake twice, make him skinny. So I was already sold. Like you don't. I didn't want to. It didn't get any more of my money than it already didn't have.
No, right? Yeah, you were gonna go see this movie regardless.
Like I like Tom Hardy. Like,
what do you think about?
I don't love trailers because I don't want to know too much going in general.
I mean,
so like you really got to get me on the first one.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
I think that's the point. So I'm like, well, yeah, the trailer's fine. It didn't do anything. I'm like, okay, now I must go see it.
Now here's something that you and I have argued about. I think since literally like the second or third show. Where maybe somewhere deep down inside they have been talking about Carnage, but there's no Carnage in this movie. They have not marketed Carnage in this movie. They have not talked about Carnage in this movie.
Carnage is going to be bad for
like I said, but that's what I've been saying from day one.
The director, when it first came out, Carnage is in this movie. And there's already been parts where they think they've seen the red symbiote. And they think it's going to be a girl instead. They think it's going to be a female Carnage.
Which would be cool.
That's the rumors.
Because Carnage is dope. Like, that character is very easy
Mike's mad because one of our first bets when the show started a year and a half ago was, is Carnage going to be in it? And I said yes. And 3 days later, the director comes out and says, yes, Carnage is in this movie. And Mike thought it was dumb, and he's dumb. So yes, Mike Carnage is in the movie at some point, but it's not the main bad guy.
But then that's when the conversation evolved to, well, is Cassidy the main bad guy? Is this they blowing the load in the
main bad
okay?
guy.
But that's my argument the whole time was then it doesn't make any sense, and I always kind of lean on the fact that Venom versus Carnage was always going to be part 2. That was always my bet from the beginning, and yet here we are. It will be Venom versus like Toxic or something, and it'll be dope, and it's all to establish Tom Hardy. And here's the one problem though: Tom Hardy's not the type of actor that jumps into sequels a lot. When was the last time that he ran into a sequel for a series?
I don't think Tom Hardy's been in anything like that.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, and obviously Christopher Nolan wasn't
Christopher
going to go.
Nolan
Yeah, wasn't going to.
trilogy,
Yeah, right. But, like, that's the thing is, I see, like,
how
Joaquin
many
Phoenix,
movies has he been in where he had the option to make a sequel?
Mad Max. And obviously a lot of that has to deal with what's going on behind the scenes. But I wonder if he's the type of actor like Joaquin Phoenix where he doesn't jump into franchises.
I don't think he plays the characters to do it. Because even Mad Max, you're like, I can see a movie without Mad Max because he's very quiet. Like, I'd rather see a Furiosa movie probably. I can get on board with that.
I'm down with that. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. His characters, like, he's just not that kind of actor where I need to see his journey, but like I want to see his journey now. But
so my question is he a Joaquin Phoenix where we can count
I
him
think
not on
he'll
doing it, or
be
is he going to do
good
it?
because obviously the reason he did is for his kid.
And maybe you don't sign him for a deal.
It needs to be good. It needs to be good. It needs to make some money. He needs to get praise for it. If he gets praise for it, I think he'll be in. If it's one of those things where it's like, oh, the movie's kind of bad, I don't think he'll do it again. I think he'll be over it.
So, Alex, this is something that we're going to be bringing into maybe every once in a while throughout the show. You came up with a really cool, cheeky name for it. What was it?
What are you talking about, Mike? You've never mentioned any of this to me.
What we were talking about before the show.
Nah, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I just sat down. No, I'm kidding. It's, what's that mean? So, like, if you ever, we always discuss it like this. If I ever told Mike, hey, look at this trailer for this video game, all this characters in it, your usual response is, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Like, that's your response. So what does that mean for us? Our first thing is going to be the Marvel logo and behind Sony movies. Because I think this is a conversation we have with a lot of nerds who aren't as diehard is what's connected, what's not connected.
Right.
And so they're like, well, it says Marvel. That's obviously connected to the X-Men and the Avengers. And in this case, we're just going to count all MCU as Avengers because that's just easier.
And now it is.
It's just Avengers and the X-Men universe. Yeah. And then let's count Spider-Man universe.
Yeah.
Well, why is Spider-Man in the Avengers and Sony and Venom's technically not in it, but they are? It's simply contracts, people. Like, again, it always goes back to wrestling where, like, you can make certain deals. Like, you can make me and Mike could have a contract saying, Mike, you only can do this show. But part of it could be like, well, you can also get interviews from this network too. ESPN wants to come interview me. You're allowed to, even though you're from this show.
Right.
Like, that's the
you
way
get
it kind of
permission.
works. It's like, yes. Is Venom a separate thing? Yes, it is. Can Marvel say, hey, you want to make a deal? Like, what if we brought Venom in too? Like, we set up just enough of it. They can do it. I think people think it's like, no, it's Marvel. It's this, it's this, it's this. No, at any point, if Fox was like, "Hey, you want Wolverine? We'll make a deal," they could have done it.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're like, "We don't need to," but they could have done it. So I think it comes down to people. These are contracts. You can do special contracts. You can say, like, again, look at Tom Holland. He technically, like, Spider-Man's our character in Sony.
So
I own
break that
Spider-Man.
down. So Sony, Alex is Sony.
I own Spider-Man.
You own the rights to Spider-Man
like
movies.
That character's mine. I don't own Tom Holland. I own Spider-Man.
But let's break this down for everybody. Especially for you sports fans, you're gonna really appreciate this. So the Marvel, aka Disney, owns every single character that's under Marvel's umbrella. But back in the 90s, Marvel, the company, was struggling for money and sold off a lot of its rights, a lot of TV and movie rights, like Blade, Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and obviously Spider-Man.
And guess what, people? They don't own the Hulk technically.
Universal
in a solo movie.
Universal. That's a great point.
Owns
the Incredible
the solo rights to the Hulk.
So they own the rights to a movie called The Incredible Hulk, The Amazing Hulk. Anything that has to do with the Hulk. That's why a lot of people believe you saw him in Thor
like
Ragnarok.
Said, that's why they didn't call it Planet Hulk because they don't have the rights to that title.
So with all that in mind, Sony bought Spider-Man, the rights to make Spider-Man movies, which is how you got the Sam Raimi trilogy, the two Amazing Spider-Mans. And then at one point, Sony was struggling financially. They cut a deal with the MCU Disney to share the rights to Spider-Man.
So here's what happened.
And how many years? How many movie deals?
So here's what happened. So I'm Sony, I own it. Mike came up to me. He's Marvel, or he's Kevin Feige. He's with the MCU. He's with the Avengers. He says, we want Spider-Man. I want him for 5 movies, 5 appearances. And you got to remember, contract-wise, as long as you're in the movie for 5 minutes, that's a movie. It counts.
Yeah.
So he came up, I wanted 5 movies. So that's why Tom Holland's Spider-Man was in Civil War, his own Spider-Man. He was in Avengers. He's going to be in another Avengers and a Far, Far From Home. Yeah. That's his 5 movies. And so at this point, technically, Sony can say, we're good. I'm good. Like, I don't want you to have. Are they going to do it? Absolutely not. It's terrible business. They're making bank.
We know where this is.
They're making a lot of money because now the part of the deal is, okay, well, you can keep this money from the movie, the advertisements, and, the merchandise, and we're going to keep it from this, and this. So they're both making a lot of money now. So when that 5 contract's on, they might say, you know what? Let's do another 3.
Or let's do another 10.
Let's do another 10. Or you know what?
More.
Remember those movies we're talking about, like our universe and our Venom? Yeah. How about we put them all together? Yeah. Like, what if this universe is together for at least 3 more movies?
And we're going to get to Venom in 1 second, but, for all you guys wondering, if for some reason Sony just disappeared from the map, the Spider-Man IP goes right back to Marvel. Any of these things, if any of these individual companies who own, you might have even noticed in the Shazam trailer that the second company is New Line Cinema. It just goes to show that there's a lot of rights and moving parts. But essentially, if that's a great example for Warner Brothers, where Warner Brothers, the company, owns the DC universe, but New Line is a subsidiary type of second company that's going to go in. So in this case, Sony, its own individual company, works with Disney, Marvel. But if Sony went away, Spidey would go right back to Marvel.
And in this case, Disney.
And the Fox deal was essentially the same thing, where everything just kind of went back home.
And you're also talking about, like, when we talk about this, remember, these are big companies. Marvel's a huge company.
Billions.
Marvel, yeah, obviously comic books don't make what they make. You have comic books, video games, toys,
T-shirts,
TV shows.
What T-shirt am I wearing right now? Jeez, I didn't realize.
A Spider-Man one.
I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt.
That's what I'm saying. Is like people don't get that. It's like it's not just these characters you're talking about. So like there was a famous deal for X-Men back in the day, where they were not allowed to use a certain. They weren't allowed to use a certain term because it was owned by these people. They weren't allowed to use the word mutants.
Yep.
So
or vibranium.
So Marvel wasn't allowed to use the word mutant because it was too much like the X-Men. That's why you got the term Inhumans.
Mm-hmm. Vibranium,
same as Animanium. Yep. Like that's the funny thing is like they own these properties, and it was because of toy rights at the time. They're like, no, and it's a huge. We're gonna do a whole episode about it one day. On our show about just the contracts and
people don't understand
who truly owns what and why they own it and how long. Like again, we're not going to go into it, but Fox and the Fantastic Four, sometimes they make the famous story of making the famous '90s version, the terrible one, just to keep the rights.
So fascinating.
So
just
we're not.
I
think we can, like I said, we can do a whole episode about contract rights and who owns what, and in 10 years, the whole landscape's going to change. I mean, for all we know, by the time we talk about this next week, we're finalized with Disney because nothing's final until it's final.
Right.
But we never know.
And you coach the youths of Illinois and so on. Let me ask you this, and parents who are listening to this, believe it. The money that's made on the toys of these superheroes is ridiculous. And that is what we're talking about, the big dispute between X-Men and Marvel back in the day. That's how big of a deal this is.
Well,
they want those rights.
Even if you want to take it to a nowadays term, it's video games. Look at Build-A-Bear. Build-A-Bear's best specials are the Star Wars editions, the superhero editions.
Those are the king, but like Star Wars is the king of merchandise.
The Wakanda edition, the Black Panther one, the Spider-Man one when the movie came out. And look at the video game, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance on the cell phone. That's one of the most selling pay-to-play video games there is.
What's going to be our first Twitch stream video game? Spider-Man, and then like superheroes sell. Like again, you can't walk into a Walgreens without seeing a toy section there. You can't. What is Target's main men's section? Honestly, like it's like the famous Fight Club. We're a generation of man babies raised by women. So like, most of our clothes when you go to that section is superheroes. It's Star Wars and Harry Potter, and it's funny.
That's what sells at these stores. It's that old school style of it. And Pops look at Pops. Pops is a thing that wasn't a thing 5 years ago, really.
And think about how it's literally like when we make fun of old ladies with their little knick-knack things. That's what
Pops are.
That's what Pops are.
Like the babies.
Yeah.
The little villagers, whatever they were. Like That's Pops.
So
That's
interesting.
What Pops is like the McFarlane's back in the day.
Yeah, and
but
which
a more affordable version.
Hot Toys are selling like hotcakes, so it's like
if you
it's
go to a
crazy.
store like Hot Topic, like what do you see? Like
Yeah.
it's just.
So all in all, though, a fascinating conversation. This is all stuff that you're going to see down here in Mercado Airwaves, the Mercado Airwaves network. We're really working in our expanded universe, building this universe that we have going together. Now, I'm really excited about Venom coming out in October. Almost a great time for this movie. Time for Halloween. It's perfect. It just feels perfect for that time. So I'm excited for that.
I mean, it's rated R, so that should be.
Is that officially?
That's official.
Okay,
Rated
very
R
cool.
movie.
Let's go ahead and get some quick hits, Alex. First of all, Star Wars casting. We find out exactly who's going to be in Episode 9. Mark Hamill. So spoiler alert for all you people out there. Mark Hamill will be back as Luke Skywalker. We don't know how. Billy D. Williams will also be in it. And we also found out about Princess Leia.
Carrie Fisher, basically, they're using her scenes she filmed for Force Awakens.
What do you think about that?
As long as it fits the story. It's too early. It's too early to me even address this. I will not address it.
Yeah, and they officially started filming it 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So it is a thing. It is something that...
J.J. Abrams shared his first step photo. So it's cool.
So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. We live in a universe, again, where a Star Wars movie is now
We're going
in
to start
production.
seeing spoilers. We're going to start seeing, well, we filmed from this aerial view and we saw the Falcon broken in half.
It sucks. Like, it's so dumb, but, like, we're officially... And it's so... I get it. It's such first world. But it's like, we're officially on the countdown to start talking about when the first trailer will drop.
Next year.
Probably, but like
D23.
Remember, it's going to be D23. But here's the thing: it's like the Guardians thing. Guardians was filming for 2 weeks and they had a trailer already. It's like it's not going to take much for them to make a trailer.
When would you drop a trailer this year?
You're not going to drop it this year. I'm just saying we are on the trail
I
to
think
find
Super
it.
Bowl, maybe you get one at the Super Bowl. You get your big one at D23.
Well, I guess the big thing is when do you sell tickets? Next October, you'll sell it during Monday Night Football.
Yes.
So the trailer will probably be around
D23. You're gonna
Yeah.
do your trailer,
Yeah.
and then Super Bowl, you do your 30-second.
Okay, cool. So we already kind of have an idea of where we're at.
That would
so
be
we're
the
on the
best
countdown.
idea.
Yeah, we're on the countdown.
I don't think Disney wants to spend any more money.
But here's the crazy thing too. We're in the same year. We're gonna have
Avengers.
Avengers and Star Wars,
And
both are
I think
culminations.
that's what we're gonna do. Is like that's more realistic. When do you get your Avengers trailer? Because we're less than a year away. So when is that trailer?
And
gonna
there's
come out?
talks that they're gonna do the same thing they did last year, and they're gonna move it all up until April.
Yeah, that's rumor. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
We actually talked about this when it first happened. Do you think they're gonna pull this off
Shit,
twice?
if I were them, I'd put it in early April.
Just crush all of
I
April.
would go early April. Why not?
And
Get
I don't-
all the money.
And no, everybody's moving out of its way. It doesn't matter.
But you're also going to like. I also think you want to give enough breathing room to Captain Marvel.
Which is in March.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, you're probably not going to do right in April. But what a strategic thing that would be is like you get the biggest cliffhanger in Captain Marvel. Like now
2 weeks
she's in
later.
a modern time.
Yeah.
And she's talking to Iron Man Cap, and you're like, in 2 weeks,
Yeah, you come in.
continue the journey.
They're gonna do that.
Avengers, end
totally
of
gonna do that.
end of time, whatever, you know.
First question
Avengers
is
assembled.
first off, when does the title get released? The day of the trailer?
I don't know. No, probably a little earlier.
Okay.
They're gonna drag this out. You know that.
They don't have-
At this point, they're just trying to make sure James Gunn's kind of dies out a little bit.
I guess that's the big thing, right?
Yeah, they're like, let's just chill for a little bit. Let's let everything come out right now before we do superhero.
Interesting, yeah. So, yeah, at least that's what we have right there. And again, going back to the James Gunn thing, it seems like Variety had reported, and other people were kind of confirming it. Disney will not hire James Gunn.
They can't
yeah,
go back.
you can't go
like
back
that.
on it.
This ain't AMC and Chris Hardwick where like it's different. Like this, you can't. Like it's not a he say she say thing. It's there's proof. Like dude, it happens. Like, and again, James Gunn's gonna be just fine. Hollywood is not gonna shun him.
Not for that.
But
They're
Disney, as a business, Disney just can't go back and do it. They made their decision. They got to stick with it. Everyone's the stars are going to be back. People are going to watch it, and someone's going to get a chance. So,
And my guess
it's
is
a neat
James
story.
Gunn. My guess is James Gunn got an offer 2 days after this happened when
Like,
the uproar came up. They're like,
I
all
don't
right,
think
cool.
there's any hate. I don't
No.
think there's any bad mouth. I think it's one like, listen, we have to do it.
Yeah.
It's done. We're sorry. We're sorry it happened this way. We think you're great, but. And James Gunn has been great about it, saying, I get it. Like, you had to do it.
Yeah.
He's not coming out here saying, give me my job back. He's coming out saying,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, no choice.
And he's been cool about it. So, like, that's going to go far when he gets another big franchise from somewhere else.
Which he will get.
Which he will get.
He will get his own
You know,
franchise.
So,
Somewhere,
James
some
Gunn will be just fine. He's
Blumhouse is talking
paid,
to him already.
If he had to be the one to pay for it, he was the scapegoat. So, he'll be just fine.
And we also see a Terminator picture drop.
Wow, those Terminator pictures have never been good.
Let me ask you this. Obviously, it's Sarah Connor.
I'm not excited about it.
And it's I mean, what can you do with this franchise to make it good? I mean, obviously just make a good movie, but like It's
breaking news. Kane wins Knoxville County.
Oh, congratulations,
So
Glenn
he is now
Jacobs.
your new mayor.
He is a Republican for the Knoxville County. Congratulations, new mayor. Mayor Kane. Who would have thought?
Man, he won 67-33.
Oh, so it was actually a pretty big. Big one.
He killed it.
So yeah, congratulations on that. Breaking news here on.
So he's not
Good
going to
Brothers.
win the title anytime soon.
No, I don't. I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex. So very interesting. I don't think James Gunn is coming back. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we both kind of agree. Like, he'll be fine.
And then the Terminator
He's not a
picture.
bad guy.
Yeah, and then the Terminator
Terminators
picture.
are
It's
terrible.
It's
man.
just whatever. Look it up.
I don't think they're saving it. Like, this movie just has to be amazing.
Yeah, just
but
look it up. Is Arnold in this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Diego Luna's the Terminator, I believe.
Okay.
Like, it's gonna be good, I feel like, but like this didn't do a good job getting me ready for it. These pictures are always bad though, especially Terminator. Like, I remember from Genesis and Salvation where like they put out some bad pictures. You're like, they just don't look good. Like, Terminator's not the kind of movie you want. Like, I don't like trying to be gritty. Pretty gritty. Pretty gritty looks stupid.
Walking Dead does the best.
And that's different. That's TV. Like, TV's a lot different than like gritty, pretty from like Terminator 1 and 2, you know?
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, too.
I mean, at this point, you're like, listen, guys, you've made 3 bad Terminator movies. I actually don't think they're all that bad.
I mean, Terminator, the one with Emilia Clarke, was pretty bad.
I didn't think it was that bad.
To me,
I didn't mind. I don't mind them, but like at this point, they're different. Like, you're comparing the first 2, which are cinematic gold.
I don't think I'm comparing them
compared
anymore.
to very be like.
I think since Salvation, because I let that happen with Part 3.
Like, if Salvation and Genesis comes out and they're not Terminator, they're
They're
probably
okay.
better reviewed
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah. But
You're
they're
probably
lesser.
Like, I can see a trilogy.
They're
of this.
lesser live, die, repeats. They're lesser sci-fi
that's what
movies.
I'm saying. Like, you're like, I can dig it. Like, I can see 3 movies coming from it.
I forgot what Terminator 3 is called, but it
the end with the woman and the end.
like I let myself get fooled and think like, oh, this is like Judgment Day. This is like Terminator. But by Salvation, I'm like, oh, this is Christian Bale yelling. Like this is.
Actually like Salvation better than Genesis.
I totally agree, but like you also like Sam Worthington more than
I do
most
like
people.
Sabretooth,
Yeah,
yeah.
much more than most people do. Alex, I think that kind of wraps it up for a very, very interesting episode of the Good Brothers in our brand new studio. We got a lot of cool things coming up in the universe. Any last thoughts you kind of want to hit on before we get out of here?
Rebecca Ferguson got signed on from, obviously, star of Mission Impossible. She got signed on for Men in Black.
Yes, we did see that, so that's very
good.
interesting. Rebecca Ferguson, former MMA fighter, now becoming an actress, kind of going to.
I mean, good for her.
Will Ronda Rousey be good in Mile 22 when the reviews come out? Because this is the same team that gave us Deepwater Horizon and Patriots Day, so it's a good crew.
The movie's going to be the same as ever. It was good.
It was good,
People are
yeah.
gonna be like, it was good. Like, in that tone, I'm like, yeah, it was good.
So we'll see. We'll
Nothing
see.
bad
I mean,
with
I'm
it.
rooting for it. I'm actually genuinely rooting for a cool
You know,
action
do-
movie.
Do your best.
Yeah. And then
Mark
Jungle
Wahlberg,
Cruise.
Laurie Cohen, obviously Emily Blunt Rock came out with the little thing.
Yeah.
So basically, we're getting Jungle Book, but with Disney, not Sony. So
Yeah.
or sorry, Jumanji.
Yeah,
kind of seems like, but
Yeah.
for Disney. So
So it might be better.
I don't know. Jumanji was pretty good.
But Jumanji had a charm. Disney might have a quality. That's the difference.
Yeah, so we'll see.
So that's a big difference.
You know, they look fun. They look like they're having a time of their life.
I mean, that's the episode of The Rock.
Obviously, you know, The Rock's not. I don't think The Rock is having a great year. I think he's having a great year financially, but I think it's a lot of smoke and mirrors of like #1 movie in China, 60 million total. Like,
But, like,
it's
here's the
very
problem,
a lot
though.
of like, hey, Rampage made its money back. Probably should have made a little more. It wasn't terrible.
Jungle Book was the nut this year.
Jumanji.
Jumanji. I
You
was
say
doing
Jungle
Jungle Book.
No, Jumanji was
Yeah.
no, but Jumanji's one of those things you look back his career, you're gonna be like, that was huge. And then obviously the stupid
Skyscraper killed it.
Skyscraper was terrible.
Yeah, that one.
And
You and I talked about
but
that.
here's The Rock being like, listen, it was one of the #1 movies in China though.
Right.
It made a lot of money. So, you know, The Rock's good at that, man. He knows how to sell, even though critically all these movies were very mediocre to bad.
He's got 2 things in that chamber that he's leaning on, and I truly believe it.
Hobbs.
He's got Hobbs, and he's got Black Adam. I think he's got,
And I think Jungle Cruise.
yeah,
'cause it's Disney.
Yeah, I think he knows that he kind of has these things locked up, and he
does. Like,
and
that's
that
what I'm
Disney
saying.
deal's always helped him, especially since Moana, and now with this one, like
I mean, we're starting to get to the point where we're like, Rock's money, but The Rock's not good.
I think he's good. I think he's Arnold good. I think you can always just count on him to bring the Rock stuff with him.
I think he's a little past Arnold at this point already.
But you know what I mean? Like he's countable for what he's gonna bring.
Yeah.
Like you know what you're gonna get from
I
a
think
Rock
we maybe
movie.
thought it'd be a little more.
Yeah, I think
Has
we
it
all
gotten
thought,
there?
but like you don't think
Because again, Rampage, people forget because people were like, "Listen, Rampage was for all purpose of this year. Rampage probably his most successful movie because it lived up to the low expectations it wanted and made the money for its budget." When you look at Skyscraper, you're like, "No, he put a lot into that movie. Like that movie was supposed to be Die Hard of 2018,
What
and it
about
ended up
Jumanji?
being that was last year. We're talking about this year.
Okay,
Talking
strictly
about this year.
Okay.
Jumanji's success, we get that. Like that's not a thing. But this is getting to the point where it's like Skyscraper was hyped up as this movie of Die Hard level,
Burning
and
the
it
fans,
was
Burning
and it
Inferno,
was
yeah.
kind of San Andreas light.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, that's not okay. Like it was as good as Rampage. Well, Rampage was only expected to be so much, and it was.
Okay. I
As
see
much
where you're
monsters.
coming from.
Yet Skyscraper was supposed to be this action movie to end all action movies, and it was very mediocre. That's not good.
Yeah.
You know, like at one point, are we gonna be like, is The Rock better than average?
Right.
He makes money, but acting wise, is he really giving us something that we don't think we can get anywhere else eventually?
Let me ask you this: does he come to WrestleMania 35 next year?
I don't give a damn, dude.
Do you think he does? Marketing? Do you think he does? Like, is there anything that he might work out
Depends
that
if
way?
he's in a movie at the time, honestly.
There's a lot of talks now coming up, though. Like he might be
He's
working.
always, I want Dave
'Cause he's in New
Meltzer. I
York.
want Dave Meltzer you. If he's not doing a movie, he'll be there.
Fair. Okay,
That's
no,
that
it's
simple
all
as
fair.
that.
Yeah, no, fair.
He's always doing a movie, though.
Yeah,
so I don't
yeah.
know, man.
And we'll see. We'll see for the push. Alex, also fantasy football coming around. You ready? You excited for it? I mean, it's
Yeah,
literally.
dude. Are you gonna finally listen to me this year? Or are you gonna be bad again?
We'll find out. It's going to be part of the show. We're going to do a daily segment of it. So we'll keep it up on that. Any last things you want to get into, good brother? Kind of a deep week.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, we had some really good conversations. So
We'll see how Christopher Robin does next week, and yeah,
very
we're
cool.
starting to get to a couple low hitters, but a few at a time coming up for the next few weeks of movies.
Awesome. Yeah, so you guys could go ahead and get us wherever you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. Visit us on patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves if you would like to sponsor the show. Get these episodes ad-free or before anybody else. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Mike Mercado 2333. And, of course, like us on Facebook to get the live streams at facebook.com/Mercado Airwaves. For the good brother himself, Alex Mercado, I'm Mike Mercado. We'll see you on the next episode of The Good Brothers here on the Mercado Airwaves Network.
If you would like to support Mercado Airwaves, visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. Find us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. Keep up to date with the show on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves.
You can see all of Nicole's work at typingwhentipsy.wordpress.com. You can follow Alex on Twitter at Mercado21Alex.
Follow Mike on Twitter at mmercado2333 and on Instagram, Mike Mercado2333.
Thanks for joining us here on The Good Brothers, here on Mercado Airwaves.
What's up, friends? Mike here from Mercado Airwaves. If you missed any one of our past interviews with amazing guests like future Hall of Famer and pound for pound best fighter in the world, UFC flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson,
Another day at the operator to go out there and test my skill.
to award-winning producer, director, and actor Orlando Jones,
Orlando, how you doing,
Hey,
buddy?
sir. I'm good, brother. How you doing?
and all the other interesting guests we've had on. Joining us today is director and writer David Ferrier.
Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate you having me on the show.
MMA legend Chael Sonnen joins us today.
Keep listening to your show. This is great. Thanks, my friend.
Just subscribe to us on iTunes at Mercado Airwaves. And while you're there, please like, review, and rate us, friends. It helps so much. We also have a Patreon for anyone who would like to support the show. Just visit us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves and see how you can get all of our interviews ad-free and before anyone else, and how you can get your business or company spotlighted on the show. Follow us on Twitter at mmercado2333. Like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/MikeMercado2333. And if you would like to see what we're up to behind the scenes, follow us on Instagram, MikeMercado2333. Thanks for listening and all the support.